On the night of October 28, 1943, while the heavy silence of the wartime atmosphere over the Atlantic was broken by an unusual tension along the coast of Philadelphia, Carl Allen and the assigned crew were observing the USS Eldridge, a warship anchored roughly 100 meters away from their vessel. What initially appeared to be an ordinary night watch quickly turned into a series of inexplicable events. First, a faint vibration was felt around the ship, followed by a low-frequency humming sound that seemed to emerge from nowhere. This sound was not only heard, but also felt physically, as if it created pressure within the body itself. After a short while, a greenish light distortion formed around the hull of the Eldridge, rapidly intensifying into an opaque mist that completely enveloped the ship. This was not ordinary fog or smoke, but something that seemed to bend light itself and obscure reality. As the crew watched in disbelief, the outlines of the ship within the mist began to fade, the massive steel structure first becoming blurred and then gradually disappearing entirely. For a few seconds, only a faint green shimmering void remained, followed by a sudden burst of blinding light that abruptly cut everything off. When silence returned, the USS Eldridge was no longer there. It had vanished, as if it had been erased from the physical world. However, this disappearance did not last long. After a short period, the ship reappeared at the exact same location. But this return marked only the beginning of the darkest part of the incident. When the inspection team boarded the vessel, what they encountered went far beyond a typical military accident and instead resembled something that challenged the very limits of reality. Some sailors stood frozen in place, motionless, their eyes open, but their minds seemingly disconnected, while others were shouting in panic. Yet their words carried no coherent meaning. As they moved deeper into the corridors, the situation worsened, and the internal structure of the ship felt almost alive. Some soldiers were seen partially merged with the ship's metal surfaces, an arm seemingly fused into a wall, another body half embedded into the floor, as if the boundary between human and machine had completely dissolved. Further inside, there were fragmented remains that were difficult to identify, along with survivors trapped in severe psychological collapse. Some were unable to perceive reality, while others experienced repeated episodes of terror. The surviving crew members were kept under prolonged observation, yet the effects they suffered were not only physical, but also psychological. Some experienced sudden uncontrollable rage before returning to normal as if nothing had happened. Others remained in a so-called frozen state, remaining motionless for extended periods, and in some reported cases, certain individuals simply disappeared without a trace. Years later, Carl Allen claimed that the incident was the result of a secret military experiment involving electromagnetic fields. According to him, the goal was to render the ship invisible, but the experiment went out of control and not only made the ship vanish, but also temporarily displaced it to another location, possibly hundreds of miles away. However, official military records did not support these claims. It was stated that the USS Eldridge was not even in Philadelphia at the time, but on a different assignment, and none of the crew members confirmed such an event. Nevertheless, the existence of real wartime experiments involving electromagnetic fields and ship protection systems added further ambiguity to the story, preventing it from being dismissed entirely. Thus, the Philadelphia experiment continues to exist as a narrative suspended between science and legend, reality and horror, gradually evolving into one of the most unsettling myths of modern history.